All right, welcome back. It's time to have a look at what's being reported on the dailies. My name is Beatrice Watare.
Right, my name is George Gishoro, and time for the newspaper review. Daily Nation, they go with the headline, How Counties Fixed Big Money Tenders. Shocking details of how 15 governors played the IFMI system, diverted cash. Audit reports for the year ended June 30th, 2023, reveal how rules are routinely bent by county officials to hand lucrative contracts to preferred merchants, leaving taxpayers to incur heavy losses in inflated prices and huge payments for shoddy or no work done. You can read that report on pages 4 and 5 inside the Daily Nation. I also see Azimio's best bet. There is an interview there, exclusive interview. Firebrand na Kenya party leader Martha Karua, who was Azimio leader Raila Odinga's running mate in the 2022 presidential election, insists she has the mettle to take over the coalition's leadership and dismisses Wiper's Kalonzo Musyoka as lacking the authority to steer the opposition. I read that on page 12 inside the Daily Nation. I also see a strike, the strike by the medics and the call-off strike of Face the Music. Doctors have been told. Striking doctors have been given 24 hours to call off their nationwide strike, or they will face disciplinary action. According to Head of Public Service Felix Kosgei, he's urging them to return to the negotiation table in compliance with a court order. Will they heed to the same? We wait and see. But also, I remember last week, not last week, you see, I'm assuming today is Monday. Earlier this week, Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki also issuing warnings to the striking doctors, saying that because their strike is illegal, they will now not entertain them. The police will now not entertain them. So I don't know what that means. Will we see now disruption by the police of the strike? But of course, let's wait and see. There is no need of aggravating an already worse situation. There is no need of worsening the situation. Still on the front page, I see MPs to move into new swanky offices. Wow. So members of parliament are expected to occupy their new office building, which took over 8 years to be completed, and they will start moving in from today. There is a pictorial evidence of that Bunge Tower. That is what it is being called. And indeed, it is
swanky.
It is swanky. Swanky it is. Yep. What else on the front page? Nothing much on the front page. But heading to the county news, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma given nod to split water company. Nzoia Water and Sewerage Company was formed in 2004 to serve the two counties. So that is in as far as the county news is concerned. The DN2 pullout today, they are going with prioritize social amenities to improve life in the slums. New buildings alone, as a matter of policy, cannot change the mindset of people living in slums. They need to be part of the process for them to fit in. And you can read that on pages 20 and 21. Let us focus on social amenities to improve conditions in slums. I also see international news. Biden, Israel approach to war in Gaza, a mistake. Netanyahu has flagged plans for an assault on Rafah, where more than 1 million displaced civilians are holed up. That is in as far as the international news are concerned. The business section, special unit of police to fight illegal miners and smugglers. I also see a fifth of chief executives cut jobs as sales decline. So farms shed staff as weak demand for goods and services remain stubborn. A service says more workers to be sent home in the current quarter. This is some sad news there in as far as the business environment in the nation is concerned. Back page of The Nation,
Yes.
11 billion shillings arrears rock police teachers medical scheme. Administrator blames arrears to hospitals on delayed funding from Treasury. Scheme administrator requests hospitals to continue serving members. Still on the back page, poor funding undermining the quality of education in special schools. That is according to the CS. Schools for learners with special needs are grossly underfunded and cannot afford to hire enough caregivers, as well as buy required assistive devices, affecting the quality of life and learning in the institutions. Heading to the back, the sports pages, gripping draw leaves Arsenal players with mixed feelings. We could have been up to 3 goals, but happy with equalizer, according to Trossard. Pressure on Bayern now as domestic league title has slipped away. Ancelotti, Real played well but missed a chance to beat Man City. 6 arrested for hijacking killing of South African footballer. That is on page 35. And I see Botswana sprint star Tebogo can't wait to race in Nairobi. Namibian hotshot Mboma returns to action at Gold Tour event. It's all about the 2024 Kip Keino Classic, which is 9 days to go. And also I see girls rugby 15s steals the show in Machakos. You read that on page 38. And as far as the secondary schools national games are concerned, and they will continue until the 13th of this month. That is the Daily Nation.
Okay, let me now raise the standard.
Go ahead.
For the nation.
For the nation. Raise it.
Oh my, okay. Now moving here, I see here the very first top story is Kagwe Uhuruto lie haunting president. In 2017, an election year, then President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto had to placate medics who were on 100-day strike and entered into a CBA, which former Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe now says is hard to implement. President Ruto has disowned the deal, leading to prolonged suffering. This is on page 4 and 5, literally giving us a genesis of this doctor strike and what it led to when it last happened and right now. Because, you know, when you were mentioning the fact that wanaambiwa, it's either you go back to work or you face the music. You know, it reminded me of my principal in high school. So I'm just asking myself, because these are grown-ups. These are people who are professionals. They have valid reasons as to why they are striking. And telling them actually what you have been doing for literally almost a week plus has been in vain. Go back to work or face the music. It's like, what music have they not faced?
For them, we have not been paid well. For us, we have not worked for the longest. So what do you mean? And you see, they are pushing for a CBA. This is a CBA that they signed with the agreement. So even if the agreement, the government can now come and say, oh, we were under duress because, again, we were on strike, that is neither here or there. Bottom line is, there was an agreement that was signed between the medics and the government. So for me, it's for the government to tone down on the threats and see how they can go back to the drawing board. Try to convince these doctors that, yes, we agreed on this, but 1, 2, 3.
This is the thing.
But threats,
we are paying taxes. So saying there's no money is like, come on. We just raised the taxes.
No, there's no money, but there's no money. It's not that there's no money. There's no money to pay you.
To pay you.
As doctors.
Oh, my.
But there's money to do other things.
To do other things.
Priorities.
Priorities of our country. But we pray for a resolve, because while these two entities are fighting head on, we have those who are suffering, and those are the sick. We had 2 children pass on last week.
And those are those that were reported. Imagine the many
who have not
been. Exactly.
It's a lot.
And there are many, because it's across, across the country.
It's really sad.
So it's sad.
We pray for wisdom, and so that this issue will be resolved as soon as possible, because it's become a matter of life and death. So that greed is not going to be the thing that literally kills our people. But let us move on. And actually, even, you may never know. It could be anyone's child,
Anyone.
even those in government.
Yes.
It could be your relative somewhere who
Yeah.
is, stranded
Yeah.
because of this same thing. So it may affect people on the outside,
Yeah.
but even the ones who are within it, they are not immune to also going through
Definitely.
the
All
same
of us, we are facing this danger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
It
of
can
us.
happen to anyone.
Anyone. Yeah, may God intervene.
Yeah.
And moving on, I see here for Raila, it is a case of damned if he did and damned if he didn't. This is on the national page, page 8, and more on that, Raila torn between fighting for the masses or securing top seat at AU. Raila has long been a thorn in the flesh of governments, and analysts say he cannot bite the hand that is also feeding him. So look at that story that is on page 8 of the Standard. And moving on, I see here why Wetangula is a man under siege. Siege, whatever it is. On page 9, I see here Wetangula and Natembeya fight for supremacy in Western region. President William Ruto wants Kenya Kwanza affiliate parties to dissolve and join the ruling UDA. But Ford Kenya has maintained that it will not heed the calls, but instead remain as an independent party. Political wrangles right there. That is on page 9. Have a look at it. And I see here on the page 2, what is taking the page 2 and page 3, of course, is the event that was happening yesterday. And then we have page 4, Medix 2017 CBA Uhuruto drafted returns to haunt Ruto government. Doctor strike continues to bite as patients suffer slow services. I see here doctors on contract terms are offering services in select hospitals, even as Medix down tools. Some counties have engaged doctors and claim to have met their demands. And I see one holding here a board saying full implementation of the 2017 CBA, just what we have mentioned. And on page 10, I see counties on the edge as floods wreak havoc amid heavy rain. 4 family members killed by a landslide in Narok after heavy rains. Counties' preparedness tested as floods reported in several regions. This is another issue of, prevention before we have to cure.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't even have the chance to cure. It's literally death being reported about, anytime we get into these seasons of rain, we realize everything that the counties have not done to make sure there's a proper drainage system. These things are well built, even when it comes to the houses that are in places that are susceptible to landslides. And huwa ni kama tunashtuka. And yet, when it's sunny, that's when we need to be preparing.
Yes.
Like a farmer planting crops.
Yes.
In the sunny seasons, waiting for that's the same way we have to go with this. And we are hoping that, we will put in such measures. And even when we decide where to move in or to stay, to also consider such places where there's danger of landslides and also things like that happening. But, rest in peace to the families, and our comfort goes to those families as well in Narok. And moving on the back page, I see Trossard strikes late to rescue Arsenal as Real also draw against Manchester City. Arteta says they cannot change anything on what Arsenal thought was a penalty. Nasema it is all to do in the second leg in Munich and Manchester after the first leg still mate. Remember, Arsenal rescued a 2-2 draw against Bayern Munich, and that is Leandro Trossard's late leveller stopped Harry Kane making a triumphant return to North London in Tuesday's Champions League quarter-final first leg. That is on the back page of the Standard. And getting into some local news, I see a Gorosare High and a Kwandanze storm into semis. Kwandanze ni kule kwa Ndiku Mutinda. Looks like Ringa Boys held by
in the papers.
Maybe there's a relative there of Ndiku Mutinda, who's our director. Ringa Boys held by Meru in hockey as St. Anthony's Kitale Stan Musingu. Mangu ran over Kitondo in rugby, while Nyakach girls pick a win in basketball. Lastly, Eldoret is set for another thrilling city marathon. Look at that on page 38. That's it for the Standard.
Right. Quickly, we can check what's being reported in the Business Daily. Headline, banks face 500 billion shillings hit on states' single account shift. Lenders push for a phased implementation plan. Treasury intends to collapse over 33,000 accounts into one. And now that means that commercial banks are waiting the Treasury to appoint them as collecting agents for its centralized account as they look to soften the blow of losing hundreds of billions of shillings in stable deposits from state agencies when the new system is rolled out. You can read that front page and also on page 2. And also I see here why pump prices will go up from next month. So they're saying prices of Murban crude on the global market have climbed to highs last seen in October last year, setting up Kenyans for a rise in the cost of fuel after a short season of decline that started in December. All right, so you can read that on page 2 inside the Business Daily. And I see 9-month domestic debt grows 424 billion shillings. The rate of state borrowing from the local market accelerated during the first 9 months ended March, with a fresh debt hitting 424.7 billion compared to 274.6 billion of new borrowing in the same period a year earlier. I also see some good news here. CBK tips economy to grow 5.7% this year. So this is a significantly more positive outlook compared to projections by the World Bank and also the International Monetary Fund. That you can read on page 14. The back page of the BD, they are saying why Kenya wants Tanzania to curb elephant hunting. They are saying killing of jumbos by licensed hunters across the border, a threat to conservation as neighbors pull in different directions in regard to earnings from animals. That is a story you can read on the back page of the Business Daily.
Okay, 50 minutes past 7. At 7 p.m. Newswatch at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Unaweza pia kuungana nasi so that you will be informed on more that is happening in our country. As Gigi always says, a quote by Gigi, we are informed so that we can know what is happening in our country and also know how to pray. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm a good student.
You are.
Yes.
Yeah.